So we start with the clock wall, which lots of you already know, which is good, okay? Dropping the shoulders, good Tai Chi posture. Commencing form, shift weight to the right, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 lets you off the ground, open, 50-50, rotate. Deep breath in as we elevate and draw up the water at shoulder level, reverse the posture, push down, make yourself small, flex your knees. T-stance, holding your ball, out and to the side, from the bottom of your foot, through your system, all the way up, turn the hips and waist, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back and sit down. There's that Tai Chi walk being started already. Twist out, walk in that zigzag, hold your ball for better balance, out on an L, move the energy all the way to the top, turn the hips and waist, part 2. Next movement, half step forward, hold your ball, weight is on the front. As you spin the ball to the right, your weight then goes back to the back foot to allow the front foot to come up and rock off the ground, point it out, set it up correctly. White crane spreads its wings. So I want to remind you now too that you are still in Tai Chi posture, even with this formation. We're going to drop the front foot and we're going to tuck the elbow in and draw that hand closer to the midpoint. We're going to bisect all the way through to Danten. Swirl back and look back and set it up correctly. 3 things happen. What? Ear, hand, and heel. Turn the hips and waist, brush your knee. Sit back and sit down. Walk in that right zigzag. Set it up correctly. Heel out. Oh, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist, brush knee. 2 and final. So you saw me put my heel and I didn't connect because 3 things should happen. But going slowly, I have to sometimes choose, but I should know better, okay? So after 2 brush knees, we're gonna seem like we're doing another brush knee, but it gets a little fancier, okay? So we sit back and we sit down, we pivot out, we put our left hand high and our right hand is fisted closer to our hip. No energy has expended, so that should not be a problem. Weight is on the back. What do we want to do? The Tai Chi walk says we need to step into the left position as if we're zigzagging, okay? So we're gonna do that, but when we do that, as we shift our weight, this hand comes down, this hand comes up. Do it together. But not now, when we shift our weight, soon after, okay? Here we go. Right now, heel, pivot out to deflect, bring it in, that fist in, shift the weight to parry, and then to punch. Touch the elbow to strip the guy off, open the fingers so that the palms are facing upwards, roll back, push the guy down while you sit down, right? Push him up, push him out. Okay, now I wonder if we should change our position. I think the answer is yes. Okay, you remember, left foot forward, we push the guy out, right foot back, turning to the field, okay? I'll give us a little time to rest, a little time to gather our mind. So left foot forward, and we're in a bow stance, and we push the guy out. Are your shoulders dropped? That's a good question. What are we gonna do now? We're gonna pivot on our back and pivot on our front. How? Both feet have weight. Therefore, we're gonna have to give up some weight of the back and pivot, then pivot again, and you look like me. The right hand hooks as you shift your weight. Why am I bending that, flexing? Because I'm shifting my weight. I'm on a T. Left hand is by your cheek of your right cheek. It comes out turns the hand, turns the palm out, and pushes out. What do we do now? Pivot on the front, right? Is that right? No, half step forward. Okay, we're in single whip, okay? Half step forward, that means right foot on its toe, right hand forward, drop back on your right, elevate your front on the toe, set it up, play your lute. Is that right? We're going to repulse the monkey. Is that right? Open, glance, backwards walk, Tai Chi walk, step back, draw back, push forward. Center, open, glance, lift all together, toe, heel, pivot on the ball, draw back. All right. Now, let's just take it from where we are. This is what we're going to work on today, okay? We're going to pivot on the front heel and pirouette on the right toe. So anytime you hear pivot on the heel, that's for the forward foot, and the pirouette is on the toe of the right or back. So here we go. Pivot on the front, pirouette on the back. You should be like me. The left hand is 2 inches below your navel, that's in your dantian area. The right hand, the palm is facing the ceiling. We're on the toe of our right foot. The weight is on the left. You're going to watch first, okay? You're going to stay in this position. You want to spin out and put your heel down of what foot? It's got to be only the right, because that's the only foot that can move. So you want to spin out and use the heel of the weightless foot. You're going to watch while I do it. Spin out, reposition. Okay? And only I was supposed to do it, okay? Because if you do it, then you can't see what I'm going to do, okay? You shift your weight, you hold your ball, you spin your ball, and you shuttle this way. That's what you're going to do with me now, okay? So, got to take a peek at you guys. All right. So you pivoted, pirouette, and this is where you are. We said the weight is all on the left. This is the only foot that take a spin out to put a heel on. When we do that, we're going to reposition our ball. Right now our ball, the right hand is wrong. So the only foot that can spin out is our right heel. When we put it on its heel, we're going to reposition our right hand. Here we go. Spin out with our heel, reposition our ball. Shift the weight to the right. Come out with your left like a L stance. Turn the ball, spin the ball, and Maiden is on her left. Maiden has to go on her right now, okay? Sit back and sit down. Pivot in, take an in step. Hold your ball. Right foot's ready to go, right hand's on the bottom so we know. So we're going to spin out with our right heel as we turn the ball and put it to the forehead and put the shuttlecock right there. All right, and then you can't see me, okay? So we turn around. So what I went through is really important. So you're going to have to look at your online lesson, okay? Because the more you do it, the better you can adapt to it, okay? So I'm going to show you in the position that I did it, and then you somehow figure it out, okay? So I think we just did this. Yeah? Pivot on the front, pirouette on the back. Spin out, kick out, shift the weight, L stance, flip the hand, put it right there. Sit back, sit down, in step, hold your ball. L stance, spin the ball, put the shuttlecock right there, flip the hand. Half step to the back, and then we go down to the bottom of the C. All right? So, you know, I have two ways of teaching you how to do pivot and pirouette. We're gonna do 2 ways. Actually, let me clarify. There are 2 positions or locations in which we can start to do our drill. One is, okay, I'll just show you, it's easier. One is sorta in this way, okay? And this is the way I would position you, okay? Pivot, pirouette, kick out, heel, Maiden on her left. Sit back, instep, ball, Maiden on her right. Half step, and this is the view that you would get, okay? That's the first one. And this is the second one, okay? The second one we start with everybody faces away from me and faces the street. Pivot on the front, pirouette on the back, kick out with your heel, Maiden on her left. Sit back, instep, hold your ball, L stance, Maiden on her right. Half step to the back, needle to the bottom seat. Let's get really good. Let's angle ourselves to this way. You angle yourselves this way to the, I'm going to that panning camera, and you're going on to the windows or to the door in that angle, okay? And you don't have to get a real severe angle, but I want you in that direction because eventually you'll see what I'm doing on the front. So we are pushing out with our left foot forward. We're on a bow stance, and we just push the guy out, okay? Everybody push the guy out. What we want to do now is pivot on our front and pirouette on our back. So we're in a bow stance. The choreograph says, sit down, sit back, right? Now we're gonna easily pivot the left heel and quickly pirouette the right. Right? Are you looking like me? Okay, one more time. So there was hardly any, all you had to do is intake in your mind and apply it to your body. Push out, sit back, pivot the heel, firm down, pirouette the toe. Okay, can you hold your stance? Okay, good. You get it, okay? Let's get it a little better. Left foot forward, and don't take a wide span, just take a comfortable span, but don't take a small span, okay? You push the guy out. Sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. Okay, let's get it good. Push out, sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. Wow, easy, huh? Okay, come on, you're gonna do it for me afterwards, okay? Push out, sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. One more time, let's do it 5 times, that's 1. If you're in an L stance, which you should, a bow stance, because you were in an L stance, that front foot, if you dragged it back, there should be a gap. Drag your foot back, is there a gap? Drag that left foot back if there's a gap. If it's not, then you have to set it out a little bit more, okay? Because it's gonna bear on what you do. All right, push out. Pivot, sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. Okay? So no problem. When you push out, everybody push out, you're gonna sit back and you're gonna sit down. When I say pivot, you're not gonna say, hey, what foot is that she wants you to pivot? Only the weightless foot can pivot. It's the front. So pivot, bear down or root down, then what? Pirouette is natural, right? But the weight now should bear on that left foot, okay? I'll talk about it again. Push out, sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, pirouette. So we're created a weighted foot on the left and a weightless foot on the right. So we're setting ourselves up correctly so that we can then kick out. So we're getting good to, I think, 2 more times and then we're gonna move on. Left foot forward, we push the guy out. sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. One more time. And while we're doing it, you're going to say to yourself, I understand what pivot is, I understand what pirouette is. I know my ball is not quite right, but I am good. But now this time say, understand that one foot is weighted, one foot is not, and it's alternating, okay, because that's a pattern. Push out, sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. One more time. Push out, sit back, sit down, pivot, pirouette. Okay, from here now, we're going to kick out with our heel. And nobody's going to ask me what heel, because the weightless foot is the right foot, the pirouetted foot. So we're going to kick out with our heel, and we're going to reposition our hands. Okay, and not going to look back because you're just going to do it. Okay, here we go. Pivot, kick out with your heel, reposition. And then you can peek and see where I am. I'm looks like I'm forward, which I am, but the foot wants to do a zigzag to the right. Because when Maiden works her shuttle, she zigzags to the right, she zigzags to the left. Then the needle of the bottom of the C takes you straight away. Okay, so I didn't tell you that, but I'm telling you now that if your right foot is sort of slanted rather than on a line or parallel to the line, that's good, so you kicked out enough. Okay, now your turn to watch me, okay, before we move into number 2 position, okay? So left foot forward, right foot in a bow stance, drag my foot back, there's that gap that I want. I don't want it here because I'm gonna have trouble doing my pirouette. But I don't need an exaggeration. All I need is the correct Tai Chi posture. Tai Chi walk, or even our 10 form L stance, bow stance, which means drag it back, there should be a gap. So we push the guy out. I know my shoulders are dropped. I know I'm not following my hand. I know I'm not arching my back. I know my Tai Chi posture is with me, because all of those components are important to the next movement. Everything just kind of wraps around. But once something is thrown off, you're going to have trouble. Trouble is going to be compounded, okay? So you want to make sure you're in the right position. You're going to sit back and you sit down. You're going to pivot. You're going to pirouette. You're going to what? Kick out and Maiden on her left. Sit back, sit down, twist in, hold your ball, out, spin the ball, Maiden on her right. So I'm zigzagged, right? But what's going to happen is that the needle is going to take me to a straightaway right here. Then when I flash arms, I must just do it all for now, okay? Since I have good viewers and followers. Sit back, sit down, twist step, 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. We do only 2 rotations of cloud hands, and it's always to the right. So this is the end, but what happens is that we hold our ball and we T-step, and then all we do then is ward off, and we end our 16 form, okay? I'm gonna get some water, gonna think about what I just taught you, and then we're gonna start with the roadside, so you won't see me in the beginning. So think about what are the 2 things or 3 things you're gonna have to do without seeing me. You figure it out. Left foot forward, pushing out. So the left foot now should be on a line or parallel to the line. And then you push out and you say to yourself, am I still in good Tai Chi posture? That's all you have to answer, and that's all you have to figure out. You figure it out. You're smart, okay? Push out. Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Kick out, right. Left, Maiden on her left. Sit back, twist in, hold your ball. Out with the right heel. Right hand comes up. Maiden, put your shuttlecock right there. Half step to the back. Cross the hips and waist. Set up the left hand. All together. Needle to the bottom of the seat. One hand comes up. Two hands come up. Foot joins it. Flash your arms like a fan. Sit back. Sit down. 12 o'clock. 9 o'clock. 12 o'clock, two things happen at 3, 12 o'clock, two things happen at 9, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, hold your ball, T-stance, out and to the side, ward off, turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail, contact, turn, push the energy, roll back, sit down, spiral up, lunge forward. Let's finish. Sit back, sit down. Twist step. Hold your ball, out and to the side, ward off. Turn the hips and waist, grasp the bird's tail. Contact, turn, push from the center, sit back, sit down, spiral up, push them out. Closing form, twist step, open step, instep, embrace the tiger, move over, rotate on your wrists, bring him in, push him out. Drop the shoulders, flex the knees as you now close your form. And then ask yourself, are you still in Tai Chi posture? I think some of the backs have gotten stiffer and straighter, okay? So make sure that you're always in Tai Chi posture, okay? And I see you trying to do a good Tai Chi posture, but did you forget that the butt has to be tucked in and the chest has to be concave, okay? So make sure that you're not, so I see many of you like this, but many of you, all of you should be like this, so that the chest can tuck. It's not just the knees that change, but they change slightly. So I see you, watch what I'm doing, okay? I see you like this, okay? Look at my profile, look at my shoulder, look at my back. That is not right. That is not Tai Chi posture. Tai Chi posture says, sink your shoulder, sink your chest, tuck your butt. Sink your shoulder, tuck your butt. That's how the profile should be. There's a big difference, okay? And yeah, it's like that, but a little bit less of the ragdoll, a little bit less than a ragdoll, okay? But not so much good posture and slightly tucked butt. So that if you're having trouble understanding what I'm saying and applying, I would say tuck the butt. Once you tuck the butt, everything falls in place. You tuck your butt, the shoulders drop, the chest has no problem, it just concaves. But if you're doing something goofy with the butt area, everything else is going to be goofy, okay? So try that and use a mirror, profile yourself. Okay, so what I've done today is really gone deeper than I thought I would take you. But I've concluded, we've talked together, and we say, if everybody could keep their Tai Chi posture throughout all movements, that's your key for good Tai Chi. When we try to correct individuals who have trouble with different movements, it's only putting a little Band-Aid there for that particular movement. And even at that Band-Aid, it still wants to come off. It's still not sticking and gluing right. So I thought about it and I said, you know, if you keep your Tai Chi posture all the time and do your movements, you're going to be way ahead in the game, okay? So think about what I said. Take a look at your profile, and 5 more minutes will give us at least 3 times of practicing this piece again so we don't forget, okay? And we did several sessions going this way, so now we get to go street way, okay? Because I said I would satisfy everybody. Left foot forward, right foot 45, good Tai Chi posture, push the guy out. What are we gonna do? Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette. Kick out right, kick out left. Spin the ball, put the shuttlecock right there. Sit back, sit down. Pivot in, hold your ball for better balance. Step out right, spin the ball, put the shuttlecock right there. We're on a zigzag, we want to get to a straightaway. Therefore, the left foot goes back and we set up our hand. And you saw how that right foot got straightened out. We're going to lift all together and come down to the bottom of the seat. That's a hard one, and that's a hard one to teach. One hand comes up because it's centering you. Two hands need to come up because you're bearing all that weight. Right foot has to join it. Stretch it out and come out as a fan. You're now centered. Okay, and we went slowly because we wanted to get in all the movements, but faster is better, but faster kind of smudges over our clean movements. Okay, one more time, because I said 2 or 3. Okay, so we're facing the street, left foot forward, right foot angled at a 45, you pushed out. What are we doing? Sit back, sit down. Pivot, pirouette, spin out by kicking with the right heel. Left heel comes out as your left hand comes up and shuttles left. Sit back, sit down. Pivot in, hold your ball. Right heel, right hand spins, put the shuttlecock right there. How are we going to straighten out the zigzag? Take a half step with your back or left foot, spin to the front, set it up. What are we going to do? All together. Lift the right, swipe the right, come down. One hand comes up, two hands come up, foot comes up. Start in the middle, stretch that right knee, flash arms. Sink, good Tai Chi posture. Sit back, sit down. Twist step 12, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip, actually 1 thing, 3, 2 things happen at 3, 2 things happen at 9, 2 things happen at 3, ball and tee, out and to the side, ward off. Okay, watch how I ward off. I pause, I don't follow my hand, I'm in good Tai Chi posture. Turn the hips and waist, reposition the hand. Still in good Tai Chi posture. In a bow stance, after a bow stance, what did they say? Sit down, sit back, look back. Contact, that means touch. Turn the hips and waist, middle of the body. Push the energy through that contact. Separate. Roll back, sit down. Spiral up, lunge forward. Okay, so you know the rest. Okay, I'm going to go back to what Ken said. What he said is really important, but he was inserting it when I was still giving my detail. I didn't want you to get mixed up. But he is exactly correct. So you know enough about how to do pivot and pirouette and kicking out to get to Maiden. You do have enough. You will not have enough if you don't renew our lesson. Okay, however you need to renew it, it needs to be thought through and done again. For me, if I were in your shoes, as soon as I get home, I would do it. And in my car, I would be thinking it through, because I tend to forget, okay? Because if you say you worked hard for 1 hour and the teacher gave you the best instruction she did, you should capitalize on it. What Ken said is really important. I remember him teaching me 16 form at Kaimiki Park. And I didn't know it at all. And the hardest part was this thing that we were just working on. And he said, you know what, forget about everything that I said and just do it. And oh my goodness, I didn't forget everything that he did say, but I put it in the back of my mind, and I let my body just spin and do whatever I thought was natural. Because you know already that you cannot use a weighted foot to move. So you won't have trouble as to, is this a foot I'm going to move? Is this a foot I'm not going to move? So use some of what you have, put it to your body and say, hey, let's have fun. It's a pretty movement. Let's relax. And you be surprised. You surprise yourself. You may not get it the first time, but if you do, hey, great. But let your body teach you one time, 1 or 2 or 5 times, whatever, okay? Let your body teach you, because you should have the confidence that you intook enough information, you can visualize the movement, just let your body do it for now, okay? And sure, it may not be absolutely correct, but it'll bring everything together. It'll make connections for you automatically, okay? So I'll leave you with that thought, and we'll check it out next week. Yay, good job.